This video is intended to introduce a new concept in alternative energy. First, some context. A conventional electric generator works thanks to something called electromagnetic induction, which, put simply, involves a magnetic field vibrating atoms in a material such as metal wire, causing those atoms to shed unnecessary electrons, which add up to form what is known as electricity. The surface area and crystal structure of the metal have an influence on this effect. A much more efficient electric generator based on this principle has been invented. Named the Ussher loop after its inventor Kyle Ussher, it utilizes microscopic metal particles shaped like tiny spheres suspended in a liquid metal as the medium for electromagnetic induction. The term emulsified copper has been coined by the inventor to describe this substance. Instead of a large quantity of heavy wire that needs to be spun around, this substance is fed through a magnetic field by a pump at high speed. The active surface area of the billions of metal particles together is far greater than that of solid metal wire, and thus the atoms within these particles can now shed more electrons. This means that this new design has a higher energy density than the previously shown conventional generator. A key advantage to this is that it can be used to improve the existing electrical grid. For example, in the case of wind turbines, most wind turbines currently in use on wind farms today are bigger than a school bus. This is because of the large size of the conventional generators that they use to produce electricity. These generators must be large in order to produce the needed amount of power because their design is inefficient and wasteful. This is evidenced by the fact that a gearbox is required between the spinning blades and the generator to overcome the massive weight of the generator's rotor and reach an acceptable speed. Some wind turbines don't have gearboxes and instead use a direct drive from the blades to the generator. However, they must compensate for this by using larger diameter rotors. If the blade tip speed is 50 meters per second, it means that the rotor diameter of the direct drive generator is about 10% of the overall turbine diameter, with very heavy machinery and magnets weighing hundreds of kilos. In either case, there's a great deal of kinetic energy being wasted, and it's common for these kinds of turbines to have only up to 55% efficiency. Add to this the fact that there is a considerable amount of materials, labor, and ultimately money that must go into these machines to make them viable. The new design has the potential for serving a new generation of wind turbines that are more efficient than the ones currently in use. This is primarily because of the higher energy density, but also because there would be much less strain on the turbine's drivetrain due to the lack of heavy machinery, which would also allow a belt and pulley system to be used in place of a high-maintenance gearbox if higher speeds are desired. This means that wind turbines that utilize this new design may be smaller in size while putting out the same amount of energy as their predecessors. This would directly affect the manufacturing and installation cost of wind turbines in a positive way. Alternatively, the large wind turbines of today could be retrofitted with units of the new design in a proportional size for even greater power output instead of even larger turbines being built using conventional generators. In the case of coal, diesel, and nuclear, the higher efficiency means that less of these resources would be consumed to produce the same amount of energy as before. This helps cut down not only on resource consumption and emissions, but also on your very own electric bills. With an abundance of cheaper electricity, electric cars would also be more economical to drive than ever. Even drivers of hybrid cars could enjoy higher range as a benefit of this technology. A smaller engine would be needed, therefore less gas. For Bitcoin miners, cheaper electricity would mean higher profitability. If their mining operations are completely off the grid, like many around the world already are, that profitability goes to the moon.